Hey everyone, it's Wolfram here, and today I'm going to do a video on how to make ISK reverse engineering. So I'm going to explain the basics of reverse engineering, what it is, the skills, and then crucially what you need to look at in order to make decent ISK, in order to uh, have another income stream if you want it. Now, it's not the most lucrative, but it's steady. It's something that I can make on a regular basis. It requires very little input, so it's a lot like Planetary Materials, Planetary Mining. If you want to see my video on that, check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. That's also another very low time to ISK ratio in the game. So this is my alt that does reverse engineering. That's pretty much what he's skilled into, and does one other thing, which I'll cover in a different video as I do this series of how to make ISK in this game, but we're going to focus on reverse engineering. So if you can understand what reverse engineering is, if you go click here at industry, there are two halves to this screen. You have the manufacturing jobs half. As you see, I've got none. If I click here, this is where you can make different ships. So if I click on that, if I had the blueprint, which I do have a blueprint, and the materials, planetary materials, and the minerals, I can, for 200,000, make one of these ships. So those are components. What reverse engineering is the other half of this, which is all this stuff here, and it's to make blueprints. Now, I'm making some standard blueprints at the moment, so this is a really quick way for me to finish the Concorde pass. I'll just quickly show you. If I just set up these reverse engineering jobs, I get it done in practically no time at all for my weekly limit. So I've got 10 slots open on my reverse engineering. These blueprints I can make, and then I can put them on the market to sell. So we just have a quick look. They're always at the bottom. So I've just finished making some Vex Nava issues. I've got some omens. I made some of these are pointless, they're not actually worth anything. So you do need to check, and I'll cover all that in making ISK. So you can see I've made 10 omen blueprints. I can just check what the price is at the moment. It's a little bit cheap, but I'm still making ISK. So I'll just undercut the market, see what I can get sold. So I'll put my 10 up there. That makes me about 20 million minus taxes. And I'll do the same for the Vexes. Again, I just stack them all up. You could drip feed them into the market. I've tried that. It's just more time. It requires more time, and I'm not, not on this character that much to do time. Actually, the lowest price in G2, that's probably the price I'm going to undercut, and we're going to ignore these ones. And these prices. So I have these sales up, so you can see in terms of what I've got up for sale at the moment. I've got quite a lot. I don't sell everything; it'll come back around. That has a tax in it, that has a fee implication, but it's not very large. And this character easily makes quite a lot of ISK this way. Just to show, at the moment I've not got very much because I just bought a load of Plex on him. So I think I bought that yesterday. You see, there's all the research fees. So I put these things up, and they sell, and they sort of drip feed out. So it provides a steady income for it. Now, so you can understand. So what you're making is the blueprints, and I'll show you how you make those in a moment. But what you need, firstly, as we always do in these videos, we need to look at the skills, because this is one of the really important things in respect of reverse engineering is skills. And this applies, I think, to the majority of industrial ISK making methods in the game, is if you do not have high skills, you will not make a profit unless you can get your raw materials for significantly lower price. I'm going to go over that in the ISK making again, but skills are important, and you need to get close to max out to be able to make ISK if you're going to buy the materials off the market. So reverse engineering for ship blueprints is in the applied science. All these stuff it's under invention. Let the stabber blueprints finish, sorry. So they're all finished. I can do deliver all. And so I've now got 10 stabber blueprints. As you'll see, it'll show you those. Actually, it shows you 8, but I've got 10 because that's how many I made. So we're going to look at the skills. So applied science, invention. And as you can see, each race within Eve Echoes has its own invention principles, and you need to max these out in order to make them efficient, because the difference they make is that obviously it increases the speed, but it makes a huge difference on the success rate, and then obviously also increases the amount of reverse engineering jobs you have as you go along. But the success rate is the thing, because that's what makes the difference in terms of ISK, and I will talk more about how you can make sure you're making ISK. So you have to, as you see, I've either got these at 554 from R, I think most of these are 553. They take a long time. It's a 554 is another 7 days. The long one is the 55. That takes absolutely ages. And at some point I will put those all up to 554 just for a bit more efficiency. If you want to reverse engineer faction stuff, it's the same thing. If I want to make faction blueprints, you could do again 554. I've got an Angel. I've got 555 in Garistas. I don't have much else significantly maxed out. You could also do the mining ships if you wanted. You could do the interbus ships, which I haven't done. So there's quite a lot just in the reverse engineering. At the moment I'm working on my dead invention principles because that's my next part. That also counts as part of reverse engineering, which I'll show you, because there's some things I don't reverse engineer yet on this character, and I probably will in the future, but just so you know, there are, at the moment it's ship blueprints I'm focused on, but you could do the dead gear stuff. That is complicated, very ISK intensive. So if you've got loads of ISK to invest, it probably is worth it. It's something I'll be looking at. So at the moment, those are the B types, A types, X types. You could reverse engineer, and the other thing is nano cores. I'm not going to go into nano cores. In fact, Captain Benzie just did a good explanation of doing all the nano cores and what you need to do in respect to these components. I'll link the video below. Again, ISK intensive. There aren't any skills to do with this, but we anticipate there will be skills. So it's something I'm not touching right now. So I'm going to focus on this. This is about making ISK. So if you click on ship blueprints, it'll show you all the different ships you have. What I recommend is, if you're starting out, focus on one of the skills. Faction tech takes a very long time. Again, it's ISK intensive. ISK prices, faction prices have changed slightly in the market, well, considerably. I think you can now pick up the Garistas. So I'm 555 in Garistas. That took absolutely ages to get. It's still ISK intensive because of the percentage likelihood. If I just show you on the blueprints, for example, if I took a battleship, I wanted to build a rattlesnake, I need 20 Garista ship debris. That's cheap. They used to be double that price, but even then I'm still investing 2 bill, and my max percentage success rate I've got to show you, I know is about, I think it's about 64%. It's a little bit better if I do it in a Citadel, but even so I'm risking 2 bill. If I do, I'm going to be risking 4 bill, and I'll be lucky if I get 1, plus all the other things I need to do to it. So you need to bear in mind, in faction, if you're going to do faction, it's a lot ISK intensive. I recommend you starting out, pick one of the races and focus on them. So, for example, get Amar up to 553, and then just do Amar ships. Now, Amar is not bad because the data cores, which are part of what you need to reverse engineer, are cheap. So certainly something I recommend. Caldari, Minmatar are particularly expensive or more expensive, and Galente's in between. So they're there. You could only reverse engineer up to your tech level. So that's something else to bear in mind. So if I'm tech 7, I can't reverse engineer tech 9 ships, no matter how high my skills are. I'm Tech 9, so I can pretty much do all the ships in the game. So that's, so focus on the skills. If you're going to start going this path, there's a bit of an investment in time. It's something quite useful to do an alt character that you maybe don't do very much with. Because again, as I say, you only have to log in the morning. You could set up a bunch of jobs and then log in later and pick them up and then put them on the market. And that's all you really need to do once you've got the decent skills. In order to reverse engineer, you'll have these slots. You can pick one thing. Let's say we'll make it easy. I want to make a frigate, something that makes a little bit of money. Magnate Covert Ops, for example, I know makes a bit of money. And then I'll just show you what you need. In order to make this, you firstly need level 5 of Mars ship debris. I've got it in my inventory. If I use 1 at my rate, I'll get an 82% success rate. So that means out of 100 attempts, 82 will be successful. And if I use this as a slider, which they've now included, so I'll show you what happens now. It used to not tell you at all. There used to be no warning. But you can make sure you put the slider up to 100%. You always want to do 100% because the ship debris for these ships is so cheap it makes no difference. But the success rate is relevant because if you fail, you lose everything you put into it. So if I put that to 100%, then I'm using 2 ship debris. And then you need data cores. All the ships require 2 types of data cores, and the quantity you require is this number on the right hand side. So I need 2 Amarian Starship Engineering cores, I need 2 Laser Physics cores. Now I've already got those cores, and so I haven't got any Amarian ones, so I can go to the market and I can just buy them. So this person is selling them. These prices, you want to keep an eye on these prices. They fluctuate up and down. The cheaper you can get these, the more profit you can make. You do need to know, and I'm going to show you my spreadsheet in respect of this after I've done this part of how you do it and because I've got a spreadsheet. Industry requires spreadsheets. So if you buy it here, that's actually a bit cheaper than market normally. It used to be much lower, 160,000. So I can buy 2 there. I'm just going to buy those 2. As you see, I've now got them. Just going to make sure my slider, if I don't put my slider up and click start job, it now tells me. I can tell it to stop telling me, but it warns me that I could get a better success rate if I put another hull on. If I need some of these debris, you can just long press on the debris. But if I just click on it, it brings this up. If you long press on it, you can go to market, and I can see I can pick some up. See, they're not very expensive at all. I can also know how much I can sell my blueprint for, but I can long press. I can click on the blueprint and go to the market and see that Magnate Covert Ops sells for 548,000 at the moment. So just so you bear that in mind, it's not a huge profit margin. That's it cost me 215,000, so it cost me 430,000 in those 2 data cores. These ones are cheap, but 440,000, 445,000. So there's barely 100,000 ISK in the Magnet Covert Ops because it's frigate. It'll make it. Here it tells me it makes it in just under 3 minutes for me. It'll be longer if you don't have the skills, and it costs me 15,000 ISK. So that's how much it costs to make. So you make sure you're making ones at a profit. And then just click start job. There it is. I know it's 100% success rate, and I'll get my ship in 3 minutes. Once you get it, you click on deliver all as you saw before, and it appears in your inventory. You see all the ship debris I've picked up over time. And then, see, I just did the stabbers. I'm just going to stack them because it's easier. And then, of course, I'll just check the prices. No purchase orders. I'll put mine on. I know generally I'll make a profit at the prices I'm selling at. So I'm happy with that. One thing, like for example, this is an oddity. The market, there's no market in it for it. It's so low. So I'm just not bothering to sell them or hold on to them, see if anything changes. Same for some of these low-level frigates. They're so cheap that there's just nothing in it. So even if it only took one data call to make, there's no way I can sell that for a profit. I might build them at some point, I might do something, but I mean they're not very expensive blueprints, but something to bear in mind. Make sure you pick your blueprints so you know that you're making ISK on them. Popular ones are sometimes cheaper, but you're definitely going to sell more of them. So the Magnate sells cheap. If you're Tech 9, you can build battleship blueprints. And for example, I could build a Tempest. It needs a lot more data cores, 24. Minmatar ones, not cheap, 11 million. Requires the high energy physics ones. They're cheaper, and you need the ship debris, and 6 of them. And again, the ship debris isn't expensive. In fact, often you'll find level 5 ship debris is much more expensive because there aren't as many people farming it. So it's a bit more, but it's not anything. And then it's 200,000 ISK to make and 2.5 hours. So if I did this, same thing, just it's a lot more money invested. And just so you can see, the difference is it sells about 14, 15 million. It's actually been a bit higher recently, but someone's massively undercut. This seems like a pointless jump down. This person's done themselves out of ISK. They could have made that 400,000 because it does sell stuff. And so the battleship stuff is slower to sell because of the cost involved, but it does sell and it can make you. So if I make 10 of them, it's 100 million ISK in 2.5 hours. Now that's less the cost and everything else, which we'll go over, but as you see, the Magnate's delivered, and that's just all I do. I mean, I could pop on, do that quickly, and sell it. So that is reverse engineering. As I said, it's going to get way more complicated with doing the dead invention stuff. That's something I'm going to cover in a separate video once I've got the skills up and I've checked it out. But I understand it's going to be super expensive to deal with, and that's what I do. I just make it, put the orders out. Some sell, some don't, some come back, and I have to put them back out again. Some sell 1 or 2 out of the stack. That's fine. That's all it is. I mean, it's a steady dripping income that comes in, and that's absolutely fine. Equally, you could make those blueprints if you're going to bake ships, so you can have the alt making the ships. Get up one particular type of ship maybe you want to focus on, so you can make the blueprints. If you want to do it even cheaper, I mean, I was buying off the market. Those data cores. These are all found in scout anomalies. So if you go to a Garista scout anomaly in the towers, you'll get Caldari data cores. The problem is the quantity of data cores I need. It means I just can't farm enough scouts quick enough for this to be relevant to even fill 10 slots. But if you want to go out and do it as a side thing, that will save you, and that will be where you can make some serious ISK, because you'll be saving the costs. So you could pick up 20 or 30 in a T8 or T9 scout of Caldari. You can make a Raven with that and sell that then for 22 million or so. I think it requires 24 Caldari to tell me. So you can make a good profit. Or, for example, making a Raven. If you did that, it's just not quick enough for me. I can churn these out really fast, so I just buy them on the market because my skills. And I reiterate this: the skills allow me to do that. If I'm even 5.5, it's not good enough. 5.53 is where you need to be in order to be able to buy off the market in order to make a profit on reverse engineering. And how you figure that out is with a spreadsheet. So I'm just going to pause for a moment and resume and I'll show you my spreadsheet. Okay, so we're back with the spreadsheet, and I've had to black out. I'm not going to give you everything. You have to figure it out yourself. And so this is how I figured out the costs of various blueprints. Important that you know your data core costs, which I've kept here. These fluctuate, so I know mechanical's cheaper than that, Caldari is cheaper than that, Minmatar fluctuates in Galante. So a lot of these prices have in fact dropped, whereas Mars come up. 215 is what I've put in there at the moment. I've put the debris costs in, but frankly these are so little. If you're turning on the cost of debris, your margins are too tight. Not so for faction, that's completely different. Most of the costs come in the faction debris. The other thing you'll need to know is your fees for broker fee and sales tax. And then I've simply figured out, how many do I need of any particular data core. Then this is the important calculation. You need to know your percentage chance, because in 100% of cases it's easy to figure out what your profit is. But when you're 93%, you've got to account for your 7% loss of one of the ones you make for it. So you've got to do a calculation for that. So I know how much it costs. So I know how much it costs me to make according to the prices I've got. So if I just scroll over, if Amarian data core went back down to 160,000, as you see, my costs dropped to 363,000 for the magnate covert ops. If they go back up to, if they went up to 300,000, then it jumps up. So I know those costs. It's a different cost if I sell things on contract. So for example, if I sold now at 600,000 on contract, I'm making a loss, but I know this is 215. Generally I make more. What are we saying, 600? Generally I make more. See, cost is tight on the magnate covert ops because of your fees that come off it, and this character's got pretty decent market fees, not the best, but it's got decent ones to be able to do it. So this helps you establish what's going to make you a profit. So this is something well worth doing. You need to figure this out for yourselves, but I'm saying make sure you figure it out to include the percentage chance, so you can calculate in your losses. Because on things like things that only have a 60% chance, your profits get completely eaten up by that. That's why you need to be up at the 553, because it's all about the percentage chance. So I mean, effectively that's the spreadsheet I've built to use. I've got all the ones I do built into this, which means I can scan out and find the most profitable ships on the market at the moment. In fact, let's go have a look. So yeah, I did a quick analysis of the market as it currently stands. I just wanted to show you this, why it's important to do your research, check on a regular basis, because the market changes and things that could have been profitable become unprofitable, and things that you didn't think are profitable become very profitable. So as it currently stands, so with a if I can pick up my data cores for 215,000 ISK, the Mario ones again, they're the main cost, with some bits and pieces otherwise. Current market prices mean the Harbinger prototype, I'm going to lose 300,000 ISK every time. So there's absolutely no point making them. Whereas a Harbinger itself, I can make 1.6 million ISK on the Harbinger as of today's prices, and about 500,000 on the Prophecy and Oracle if I make those ones. And it's that sort of thing that helps. You've got to narrow down, figure out which ones are selling well at the moment. It may be a particular corp or alliance has a doctrine that they're using, and so they're buying up more of them. That's pushing the market, or it's just not many people are making a Harbinger blueprint. But that will change. Like, you can make it, that can actually fluctuate quite quickly. So it's something to do, check on a regular basis if you want to make ISK doing this method. So we're back on the reverse engineering tab. So I've done my research. Harbingers are worth it. And it just so happens I can in fact pick up the data cores cheaper than I need them. I need 130 I'm going to fill all 4, I'm going to get 73 there. 19 there. I think I can put my maths bill at 83. 92, so I need another 8 over an ISK. Well, there we go. Doing the video, I've managed to make myself run out of ISK, never mind. Let's put on the ones I've got, and I can sell at mix, but that's the point. So, these should make 1.5 million each. Now, the reason I pick the higher ones is even if the market drops out by half, then I'm not particularly worried, because then I'm only making 600,000 ISK, but I'm still making a profit. Whereas if you pick something with a really low profit margin, shift in the market can mean that you lose out. So this is just something to pay attention to, and that's all it is. Simple as that in terms of reverse engineering. As you see, the laser core ones are really cheap, so they're not really the ones you need to worry about. And I'm out there. But anyway, that's the video on reverse engineering. I hope it helps people understand basics of it and how you look at the market, the skills needed, and check out my other videos for more content. I'm going to bring you more things on how to make ISK in this game. Thanks a lot for watching.